This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 562 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by EquestrianCollections.com, a world of choices delivered right to your door. Hi, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Fran Jurga. Fran is the creative force behind Hoof Care Publishing, which chronicles progress in the art and science of preventing, recognizing, and treating lameness problems in horses. Today's tip is a group of great book and DVD titles, perfect for horse folks young and young at heart. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Equestrian Collections. EquestrianCollections.com has everything for the horse lover, from A to Z. Ariat footwear to Zoc socks, Amigo blankets to Zilco strap goods. They carry an astounding array of name brand products, and they offer unlimited flat fee shipping options if you're the indecisive type. Stop by EquestrianCollections.com for a world of choices delivered right to your door. Now, enjoy today's tip. And here we are once again, sitting next to the shopping list in the office with Fran. What the heck do we get the horse crazy kids on our Christmas list, Fran?
Well, Jen, you know we're all kids at heart. And I think that some of these books might be appropriate for adults as well as children. And they might be appropriate to share. They're certainly sort of written and produced for children, but I think adults would like them too, and they're wonderful to share with a child. So if you know someone maybe who has children or who works with children, these books would be terrific. They'd be great for schools, libraries, whatever. But this is a very diverse group. I think that people will understand right away why we've chosen each one. But we can start at the top. Are you ready, Jen?
I am ready.
Oh, I get all weepy over these. First one is Call the Horse Lucky, and it's by Juanita Havel and Nancy Lane. This is a beautiful hardcover book with all color illustrations. It's from a very special publisher called the Griffin Press, and they have done a children's book about rescuing a horse. Huh. And it's about a girl.
Cover.
Oh, it's a lovely, lovely little girl named Mel, and how she admires and admires and admires, this horse, and she worries about it because, it's been abandoned, it's too skinny, et cetera, and then the Humane Society steps in, and the horse is on a new road to a new life, thanks to this little girl's caring about it. And I think it's a wonderful line between sort of, being intrusive, the book definitely outlines the correct way to work in a situation where you're worried about a horse's welfare. And that's what I mean about, some books are sort of keyed to adults as well. So
this is not a mystery novel about people sneaking around in the middle of the night and absconding with a horse that's being maltreated. This is about a young lady who takes it on the right way and makes a horse's life better.
That's right.
Yeah.
And in doing so, makes her own life better as well. So it's just a wonderful message. And right along with this, I just wanted to mention this because I think a lot of people don't know this, and I can't really tell you that much, but we don't seem to have access in the United States, but if anyone is over in Great Britain or has any friends over there, there is a series of books called the Tilly books. Oh my goodness, there must be a dozen of them now, and they're sort of published under the auspices of World Horse Welfare, and their author is, believe it or not, Pippa Funnell, the
really?
Great British Olympic event rider. And she is a trustee of World Horse Welfare, and she has written all these books about this girl named Tilly who keeps getting into situations with horses that illustrate different welfare issues. And they may be health issues, they may be, abandonment, cruelty issues, all sorts of things. One that she just did that I thought was great was Tilly became aware that a horse was obese and that it was going to get laminitis. And actually, that's how I became aware of the whole series, is that, this book was through children explaining that your round-sided little pony can, that can be dangerous to its health. And, the whole thing about ponies getting laminitis and grass and everything. And it's just a great little book. But they're told without a heavy-handed message. It's very light-handed and very subtle. And I think for that reason they're very effective. So I just wanted to mention that. And if anybody's in England and if anybody's going, get two and bring one back for me.
Well, okay. It's funny you mentioned that because I didn't know that about Pippa Funnel.
Yeah.
And so I just penned myself a really quick email to a few contacts of mine and said, I think it would be fun to get her on the show and chit-chat about, she does all this cool writing stuff, but the aspect of writing the books and being involved with the organization to help the horses in England stay happy and healthy.
Well, it's World Horse Welfare. It's not just in England. So, I had wanted to get together with her at the World Equestrian Games last year, but she was distracted. She had something else on her mind. She actually
had a little competition going on there.
She didn't want to talk with Fran about children's horse books. I can't understand that.
I don't know why not.
But if she comes over for Rolex or something this year, I would love it if somehow a boatload of her books showed up at the same time. That would be terrific. So then on to the next book, which is, of course, very near and dear to my heart. It's called My Horse Has 5 Hearts. And
I read that one. I just read it today.
It's so cool. It's by a friend of mine named Kim Lee, and she's from Columbus, Ohio. She wrote it with her little daughter. And I think she told me that her daughter actually wrote it, but they have done the greatest job of explaining how horses' feet work, and the idea of it's a gross oversimplification, but saying that your horse has a heart in its foot that pumps blood. It doesn't really pump blood, but it's a.
I read that, and it makes perfect sense.
Especially to a child, why do you need to take care of your horse's feet? Well, think of it as those are little hearts down there, and it's just terrific. It's I don't know how many pages this book is, maybe 24.
Yeah, maybe 24. It's very
maybe 24.
Very short.
It's all full color, nicely printed, nicely put together, and I can imagine a farrier having this in his or her truck. I can imagine a vet clinic having this in the waiting room.
There's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, if a child had to be waiting, to pick their horse up or whatever, you could either read this to them, or they could, they could figure out the story just from the pictures, and you could explain. It shows an X-ray. It shows, all the different things that would happen to a horse at the vet clinic. So I highly, highly, highly recommend this, and I hope that this becomes a big hit. It's really cute.
And it's very inexpensive. Cute. It's under $10. It's a paperback. It's the kind of book that for youngsters 8 to 12, because it's written for that age group, we've all met them, and many of you out there have them in your own homes. The youngster who is horse crazy and extremely bright, and nothing thrills them more than to learn something grown-up about a horse and be able to tell the grown-ups about that. And this really does take a very complicated adult issue, the structure
very
of
complicated,
and they don't dumb it down. They just present it in a fashion that simplifies it to its very basic essentials. And that 8 to 12-year-old can read this book to you, read it themselves, and know exactly what's going on inside of a horse's foot at its essential level and appreciate it. And this is the book that's going to get put into their backpack for long road trips and read again and again.
Absolutely. And needless to say, if a child is in 4-H or Pony Club or whatever, even more reason. But I do hope that this book finds a lot of new homes.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, I know. Doesn't that just make you feel good?
Well, I just got it in the mail the other day. The author sent it over here to the Horse Radio Network, and I got it in the mail.
You're lucky.
Yeah. That's one of the perks of my job. I get a lot of books. And I looked at it and went, okay, this is a kid's book. It's 20-some pages, and I set it aside, and we were getting ready to do a recording. So we're setting up equipment everywhere. Recording's all done, putting away equipment, and I come across the book again. I said, well, I can read this really quick because it's only 20 pages. Let me page through it. And I got to the end and went, hey, why didn't they have that when I was 10 years old?
Absolutely. Or if your horse went lame, and if somebody could have had this to explain it to you, or why you don't want to get a nail in the horse's frog or whatever. I mean, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
So, those are our two feel good. And then I just wanted to mention a couple other books. One is called Black Diamond and Blake, which I believe I've mentioned on the show before, but it is about rehoming racehorses destined for second careers or retirement. And it's the story of a horse named Black Diamond and a young man named Blake who become friends when a racehorse is retired to a prison farm that takes in retired racehorses. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about promoting and giving a voice to racehorse retirement. I hate to call it retirement, call it second careers or retraining or however you want to talk about it. I think that this book is meant for children, but it's got a pretty big message for adults that we need to be supporting organizations that are involved in this. So I would highly recommend that people look up Black Diamond and Blake as a gift, whether for themselves or for a library or for anyone who's in the racing industry or anyone anywhere that might be able to make some changes in the way things are done in the big world out there. And then finally, I just wanted to mention one of my favorite authors who is named Ted Lewin, Lewin. And his two most recent horse books, one's called Stable. I believe that's his most recent one. And Stable is a beautifully illustrated story of the last riding stable in Brooklyn, New York. And it talks about horses in the inner city, both the tradition of them in terms of pulling fire engines and carriages and things like that, and then people who actually do still ride in the parks in Brooklyn, New York, and people who take riding lessons, people who explain that they now as adults enjoy riding because there was a stable in the middle of New York City for them to go and ride. And it's absolutely beautifully illustrated. It has portraits painted of all the horses that are at this stable today. I love it. There's one called Tiramisu, and just
only in New York.
I know. It's great. It's just a great explanation of the fact that horses are everywhere, and it's a good thing that they are, and that there are people who love and take care of horses very well in situations where you would never expect horses to be. And the other book is, his previous book is called Pennies in a Jar. And, I start tearing up just thinking about this one. It's about a little boy whose father has gone away to war in World War II, and he's left alone, sitting on the doorstep, and he's going to try to figure out a birthday present to send his dad, and he has all of his pennies in a jar. And in the meantime, down the street come all these different horses, because during World War II, gas was rationed, and a lot of workhorses went to work in the cities. And so, the rag man comes, and the milkman comes, and all these people come with their great big giant draft horses. The paintings are beautiful, but the little boy is scared to death of them. and he's upset about that because he knows that his father loved these draft horses that used to come down the street. And then one day, a man comes down the street leading a pony, and he's a photographer. And this used to happen. People went around with ponies and got little kids to sit up on them and charged $1 or whatever and took their picture.
Yeah, took their portrait, and it was almost always a little fat paint pony. Yeah.
That's right. And this book is about this little boy finally gets up his nerve, and he finds that there's a horse that he's not afraid of, because this one is just about his size. But he's still a little timid, and he finally gets up on it and has his picture taken with a big grin on his face, and that's what he sends his dad for a present in the war.
Oh, cool.
So it is a beautiful story. It's very poignant for the world situation today. And I'm a big fan of draft horses, and I can tell you that the paintings or the illustrations in this book are just gorgeous. Really, really nice. So there's many, many reasons to like this book.
Well, that's a whole heap of titles for kids right there, Fran.
What did we do? I think we did 5 of them, Jen.
Got 5 of them in there.
I think that's covering a pretty wide range, because I know that you've done something on the show about that book Tex, right? Because that's another one. I didn't talk about Tex because you've already done something about Tex.
Tex was adorable.
It is a great book, so I just wanted to mention
tots.
that one. Yeah.
Teeny Tiny Tots is a great bedtime book. If they're old enough to look at pretty pictures of children and farm animals, they're old enough for this book.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I think that I just see adults swooning over it all the time.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Because that little kid is so stinking cute.
That's right. And they dressed him to the nines.
Yeah, the giant hat and everything. Well, thank you once again, Fran, for bringing us this wonderful array of titles. We've got the kids covered everywhere from teensy weensy tiny tots all the way up into those teen years, right on into adults who are young at heart. Something for everybody.
And want to support a cause. That's right. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for indulging my children's book love. It's been fun. Thank you so much, Jen.
Sure. Well, there you go. Another handful of great gift-giving ideas for any time of the year. To listen to all of Fran's tips, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the Experts drop-down menu on the left. You can also visit Fran's blog at hoofblog.com. Don't forget to support our sponsors on Horse Tip Daily, because they make these podcasts possible. Today's sponsor has been EquestrianCollections.com. Visit them today for a world of choices delivered right to your door. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like us to cover on the show. You can subscribe to all of the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.